Hello, brave adventurers! Welcome back to Lumi's Quests. Tonight, the air in Giggle-Grove is cool and smells of pine needles. Before we begin, let's get ready. Shake out your shoulders, wiggle your toes, and take a deep, slow breath. In and out. Perfect. If you are ready to turn on your inner light and face the shadows with us, tap the like button now. It helps our signal burn just a little bit brighter. Our story starts at the hearth tower. It was supposed to be a quiet evening, but Zipp was busy showing off. "Watch this," Zipp shouted. "I am doing the jellyfish wiggle." He waved his arms and wobbled his knees like a piece of orange gelatin. Shelby chuckled, and Otis adjusted his goggles, muttering, "Anatomically impossible move, Zipp." But even he was smiling. It was a perfect, happy moment. But then, the sound happened. It wasn't a boom, it was a high-pitched tinkling, like 1,000 tiny glass bells falling onto stone. Tink, tinkle, crash. We looked up. The stars, the nightlight constellation, were peeling off the ceiling of the great cave. One by one, the glowing clay gems fell. Whoosh, whoosh. And then, the light went out. Total ink-black darkness swallowed the grove. "I can't see my paws," Zipp squeaked, trembling. From the deep forest came a dry, rustling sound. Scritch, scratch. "Shadow vines," I whispered urgently. "Without starlight, they are waking up. They will tangle the forest forever unless we return the star seeds to the sky. We have to go into the shadow maze." Entering the shadow maze. We lit our small lanterns and marched toward the maze. The darkness here felt heavy, like walking through blueberry jam. The familiar trees looked like jagged gray cutouts against the black sky. We stood before the shadow maze, a tangled wall of ancient, dark roots twisting into the unknown. "It's just a maze," Zipp said, trying to sound brave. "I'm fast. I'll run through it." Zipp zoomed forward. Zoom! Bunk! "Ow!" He walked back, rubbing his nose. "Who moved the wall?" "It is pitch black, Zipp," Shelby said sternly. "Speed is useless if you cannot see." But looking at the creepy shadows, Shelby's face went pale. She pulled her head into her shell with a loud clack. "I am not going," her muffled voice echoed. "There are monsters. I am staying in my shell." Otis tapped on her shell. "Knock, knock." "Shelby, standing still is statistically dangerous." "I don't care about statistics. I care about monsters." The team was stuck. Zipp was hurt, Shelby was hiding, and the shadow vines were creeping closer, sounding like whispering paper. "Shh." I gathered them close. "Listen," I said gently. "In the dark, your eyes lie to you. To survive this maze, we must switch our senses." Moby stepped forward and closed his eyes. He touched the cold, rough clay wall. "Ears are eyes," I whispered. "Touch is sight. We will not run, we will feel." Shelby slowly poked her head out. "Feel our way?" "Yes. Trust your hands. Trust your ears." We formed a line. Zipp held Otis's tail, Otis held Shelby, Shelby held Moby. Together, we stepped into the mouth of the shadow maze. Mini Quest 1. The Wall of Whispers. We crept deeper into the maze. The air grew colder. Suddenly, the path ended at a towering gray wall made of smooth, slate-like clay. But this wasn't a normal wall. It was vibrating. As we got closer, the wind hitting the wall turned into words. Nasty, discouraging words. Turn back, the wall hissed. You are too small. Shelby froze. Her ears drooped. The wall seemed to know exactly what she was afraid of. You are too slow, Shelby, the wall whispered, echoing loudly. You will never keep up. You are just a burden. Then it turned to Otis. Broken, clumsy, your inventions always fail. The team began to shrink. Zipp covered his ears. Shelby started to retreat into her shell again. The shadows around us grew taller, feeding on their fear. Don't listen, I called out, my voice firm. It's a trick. The shadow maze reflects your fear back at you. Moby stepped up to Shelby. He didn't say a word. He just placed his small, warm hand on her cold shell. He squeezed it gently. I am here. Shelby took a breath. She looked at the wall. I am slow, Shelby admitted. Then she stomped her foot and slammed her heavy shell against the dark stone. But I am reliable. I never give up. Boom! Crack! A hairline fracture appeared in the gray clay. Otis adjusted his goggles. And my inventions work, eventually. Crack! Boom! Truth is louder than fear. The wall of whispers couldn't handle their confidence. With a sound like shattering pottery, the wall crumbled into harmless dust, clearing our path. Finn's night vision gadget. Meanwhile, on a ridge above the maze, someone else was stumbling through the dark. It was Finn, the green thief. Finn usually loved the night, but this darkness was too much even for him. He hated it. He kept jumping at the sound of his own tail dragging on leaves. I'm not scared, Finn muttered, his teeth chattering. I just prefer to see my treasure. He sat down and pulled out his latest invention, the Night Sight 3000. It was crude, 2 empty jam jars taped together with sticky vines. Inside each jar, he had stuffed a handful of glowing flash flies, fireflies. Brilliant, he grinned. He strapped the heavy jars onto his face. For a second, it worked. The world lit up in green. But there was a problem. The flies inside the jars were confused. They started flying in wild, dizzy circles. Bzz, zip, bzz. Finn's vision spun. Up looked like down. Left looked like right. Whoa, steady, Finn wobbled. He tried to step over a log, but because the flies were moving, he stepped on thin air. Thud. Finn face-planted right into a patch of wet moss. The jars clinked but stayed on. He wasn't stealing the stars because he was greedy. Not this time. He scrambled up, looking desperate. I need those star seeds, he whispered to the buzzing jars. I need to build a lamp that never goes out. No more dark. Ever. Driven by his own secret fear, Finn shook the mud off his nose and dashed toward the center of the maze, running blindly into the night. The Campfire. Legend of the Shadow. We walked for what felt like hours until we found a small hidden clearing. It wasn't dark here. It was lit by hundreds of glow shrooms, tiny mushrooms that pulsed with a soft blue neon light. Safe zone, Shelby sighed, dropping her heavy backpack. Break time. We sat in a circle. The blue light made our faces look mysterious. Suddenly, Otis gasped and pointed at a rock. Ah, a claw, a giant monster claw. He scrambled backward, knocking over a water bottle. We looked. It was just the shadow of a fern leaf, stretched out long by the mushroom light. Otis blushed. Oh, statistically, I knew that. I smiled and poked the fire, making sparks fly up. You know, I said softly, shadows are misunderstood. We think they are monsters, but do you know what a shadow actually is? Zipp shook his head, eyes wide. A shadow is just a painting, I explained. It is the drawing that light makes on the ground. You cannot have a shadow without a light. So, when you see a big, scary shadow, it actually means there is a bright, beautiful light close by. The fear in the circle vanished. Zipp looked at his own shadow. He wiggled his ears. The shadow ears wiggled back. "It's just me," Zipp giggled. He made a shadow puppet of a bird. "Can you make a shadow bunny with your hand right now? Try it." Shelby made a turtle. For a few minutes, the scary maze became a playground. We realized that darkness is just a canvas for our imagination. Mini Quest 2: The Shapeshifters. We left the clearing feeling brave, but the shadow maze had one more trick to test us. The path narrowed into a canyon with high, smooth walls. Suddenly, a flash of lightning from a distant storm lit up the sky. Crack, boom! On the wall in front of us, a horrifying silhouette appeared. It was 50 feet tall. It had massive, twisted horns, spiky fur, and long, sharp teeth. It opened its mouth and seemed to roar. Roar! Actually, just the wind howling through a hole. "Monster!" Zipp screamed, diving behind Shelby. "It's the Shadow King! He's going to eat us!" Even Shelby retreated into her shell. The shadow loomed over us, terrifying and huge. But Otis didn't run. He adjusted his goggles. He remembered the lesson by the fire. "Shadows need light," he muttered, "and shadows distort." He pulled out a piece of shiny mica crystal and a roll of tape. Rip! Click-clack. "Behold!" Otis shouted. "The Truth Reflector 9000. He grabbed a glow shroom from his bag. He caught its blue neon beam with his crystal and aimed it like a spotlight directly at the monster. The light hit the source of the shadow. It wasn't a monster. Sitting on a small rock, looking very confused by the spotlight, was a tiny, fuzzy wiggle-weevil. It was no bigger than a thumb. Its horns were just its cute little antennae. Its teeth were just the fuzz on its legs. The weevil blinked. Squeak! The giant shadow on the wall vanished. "A bug?" Zipp peeked out. "I was scared of a bug?" "Perspective," Otis declared proudly. "Fear makes small things look big. Light makes them look real." We walked past the tiny weevil, laughing at our own fear. The maze was losing its power over us. The maze's trick, the moving walls. We were almost there. We could feel the warmth of the star seeds ahead. But the shadow maze had saved its hardest trick for last. We entered a long, straight corridor. "Easy," Zipp chirped. But as soon as we blinked, grind, rumble. The walls shifted. The straight path twisted into a spiral. "What?" Zipp rubbed his eyes. "It moved." We tried again. We looked left. The wall moved right. We looked right. The floor seemed to tilt. It was a mirage corridor. The harder we looked, the more it changed. It was designed to confuse the eyes. Shelby started to feel dizzy. "I feel sick. The ground is spinning." Otis walked into a wall that wasn't there a second ago. Bunk. Visual data is unreliable. I realized the solution. "The maze changes when you look at it," I said, "so stop looking." "Walk with our eyes closed?" Zipp asked, horrified. "But I'll hit my nose again." "Not if we are connected," I said. Zipp extended his long, fluffy tail. Otis grabbed it. Shelby grabbed Otis's apron strings. Moby held Shelby's hand. "Eyes shut," I commanded. Trust the pull of the rope. We closed our eyes. The dizzying, spinning feeling stopped. The grinding noise of the walls faded. We walked blindly, guided only by the tug of Zipp's tail. Step, step, step. We felt the wind on our cheeks. We didn't flinch when the walls groaned. We trusted the connection between us more than the scary images in our heads. And just like that, we walked straight through the illusion. The star seed core. We opened our eyes. We had made it. We were standing on the edge of a massive circular pit in the very center of the maze. Down below, glowing with a fierce, warm, white light, were the star seeds. They looked like jagged diamonds made of pure fire, pulsating with energy. Thrum, thrum. The light was so bright, it pushed the shadows all the way back to the walls. Beautiful, Shelby whispered. But suddenly, crash, tinkle. A figure burst out of the bushes on the other side of the pit. It was Finn, but he looked terrible. His jar goggles were cracked and broken. The fireflies inside had escaped. He was panting, his fur messy, his eyes wild with panic. "It's too bright," Finn shouted. Because his goggles were broken, the sudden brightness of the star seeds blinded him. He was stumbling in a white haze, unable to see anything. "I need it," Finn yelled, stumbling dangerously close to the edge of the pit. He swiped his paws in the air. He felt something furry, Zipp's tail. "A snake!" Finn screamed, terrified by his own imagination. He jumped back in horror and slammed into a pile of loose rocks. Rumble! Crash! The rocks slid down, blocking the only exit. We were trapped in the pit with a blinded, panicked fox and a pile of dangerously hot stars. Resolution. Lighting the sky. Finn was huddled in the corner, shaking. He looked small and scared. Zipp wanted to run, but Moby stepped forward. He picked up a small starseed. It wasn't hot like fire. It was warm like a fresh loaf of bread. Moby walked up to the trembling fox and gently placed the glowing seed in Finn's paws. Finn stopped shaking. He opened his eyes. The soft light didn't blind him. It hugged him. For the first time in the dark, he felt safe. "We need to get these back to the roof," Shelby announced, looking up at the pitch-black ceiling, "before the shadow vines take over completely." Otis grabbed a bendy root and his elastic suspenders. "Leave it to me. I present the Star Flinger 5000. We worked as a machine. Zipp grabbed the stars, zoom, and loaded the catapult. Shelby calculated the angle. 3 degrees left. Pull back. Now! Otis released the trigger. Twang! The first star shot up like a rocket. Whoosh! It hit the ceiling with a satisfying thwack and stuck fast. One by one, we launched them. Twang! Thwack! Twang! Thwack! Slowly, the darkness broke. The constellation reformed. A gentle silver light rained down on us. The scary shadow vines instantly shriveled up and turned back into harmless dry leaves. The monster shadows vanished. The world was Giggle-Grove again. Epilogue and interactive question. We climbed out of the maze. It wasn't scary anymore. It was just a collection of roots and dirt. We looked for Finn. He was gone, but on the rock where he sat, there was a single muddy footprint and no starseed. "He kept it," Zipp said. "He stole one." "He didn't steal it," I smiled. "Moby gave it to him. Now he has a nightlight. Maybe he won't be so afraid of the dark anymore." We walked home under the starlight. Tonight, we learned that darkness is not full of monsters. It is full of possibilities. It is a canvas for our imagination. We learned that shadows can't hurt you, and that the best way to fight fear is to turn on your inner light and maybe hold a friend's hand. We are back safe at the tower, but Otis is already working on a new invention to help Zipp express his feelings. It brings us to the Lumi's Legend Contest. Otis invented a mood flashlight that changes color based on how you feel. If you are happy, it turns yellow. If you are angry, it turns red. But what color should it turn if you are hungry or if you are sleepy? Invent a color for a feeling and tell us in the comments below. The most creative color will be used by Otis in the next episode. Sleep tight, adventurers, and remember, even the smallest light can break the biggest shadow.